Hi, this is the Barber Bigfoot Encounters in Benzie County, Michigan on 8/23. Hi, I haven't been on in a while. I've been busy with a lot of other things, and we'll get to that in a minute. This video is about Brian and Benzie County, Michigan, and his encounters there. The area is between Manistee, Michigan, and Traverse City, in that area. And I went up to see him almost 2 months ago, and I couldn't get a chance to go back up there for the weather. And the first time I went up there, I had issues with these GoPros. It recorded everything that I wanted except for one piece, and I thought it was on, which was probably my mistake. But I miscalculated how poorly these microphones that record on these things do outdoors. And I don't have a remote mic set up yet for these things, and it's pretty expensive, so I probably won't have one because I don't do too many interviews outdoors. There was only one little clip in here that I had to put some subtitles on that you can't understand what he's saying because he turns his head when he was talking to point. Other than that, it does okay. It's not great, but the other issue is the GoPro strapped to my head, and then I come in much louder, and my laughs are really annoying because they're much louder than Brian talking. But these encounters are, he's had quite a few of them, and we'll get to those, and he'll talk about them. And I'll go over the pictures that that he sent me of the prints and some of the other things that he found up there. Most of them are on his cell phone. He doesn't have a whole lot of equipment. He's not a professional researcher. He just started having encounters in this area a couple of years ago, and they continued as he went back and visited because he didn't know what it was at first. And I'll get to more of that later while I'm going through and we'll explain everything, how everything went. In the video, he does a pretty good job of explaining everything. If you have a little bit of trouble here, and I'm sorry, I don't have the best equipment for outdoor interviews yet. I didn't see that one coming, so I drove back up there just like 2 weeks ago now to try to get better footage, and I did get better footage, but I went to Manistee first, and the weather forecast for the entire week up until Sunday called for sun all week long for Manistee and the Traverse City area, and pretty much all of that area in Michigan. And I got up there, and then it got to like where there might be some showers in the morning the following day, and then it got to be a lot of showers. I got rained out in the morning pretty bad. My tent got pretty soaked at Manistee in the morning. So I moved up closer to the Traverse City area to another campground and got a cabin while my tent dried out overnight. And then I went to go see Brian in the morning. I was going to go finish the interviews and head back because it just went to like all sun to all rain all week. I was going to get rained out no matter where I went. And I can live with the rain myself, but the equipment doesn't work very good in the rain. Anyway, the cameras, they can get wet, but they don't, they're not going to be doing much quality video when it's raining outside. So I headed back. I headed back after I finished the interviews, and somebody pulled out in front of me, and I totaled my truck. And they hit right in the passenger side right front tire, and I've been not getting much sleep for the past 2 weeks because the thing's 3 hours away, and it had full coverage, and the insurance company's fighting me on tooth and nail on everything, and it took them over a week to go up and get it looked at, and now I'm trying to get it moved, and I paid for towing, and they couldn't get it, and it's just been going on and on. So I've been really stressed out, and all my extra time's going to that, and I'm having to be on the phone all the time. I'm just getting this video done now. But you'll like this video. It's pretty interesting, some of the things he's seen and he's had in that area. So we'll get started with that. I'll let you know. I did get some footage in Manistee before I went to go see Brian, and I had more issues with the cameras. One was my fault. maybe both of them my fault. The backwards camera didn't film anything, and the forwards camera somehow got bumped and it was sitting a little bit low, so I can't use all the footage. But I did get some footage and some night footage also, and I'll have that up in a video pretty soon also. This truck thing's getting a lot of my attention. Still to this hour, they pushed it almost over 2 weeks now or something like that, and I'm still paying storage $50 a day, and they still haven't moved it. It's always something, some sort of scam, and boy, I'll tell you more about it later. I can go on and on about it, and things you might want to know about auto owners insurance company. It's not really an insurance company, and boy, they do not pay out, and you can't argue with them. You can't sue them. They're not an insurance company. I'll tell you more about that later. Benzie County is located in the northwest of the Lower Peninsula in the finger position of the Mitten-shaped peninsula, and is considered to be part of the northern Michigan region. Lake Michigan to the west, Leelanau County and Leelanau Peninsula are to the north. Grand Traverse County and Traverse City are to the east. Wexford County is to the southeast, and Manistee County is to the south. The Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore extends to the northeast portion of the county. Before I met up with Brian, I stopped in my spot in the Manistee National Forest that we've stopped by several times before. The weather, it was calling for sun all week long. So I packed up and went up on sundown. I got up there, it's nothing but rain. After I got rained out, it continued to rain, and the forecast changed for rain all week. I tried to dry out my tent in a cabin that I rented in the Benzie County area where I was going to meet Brian. And then after I went to go meet Brian, I was just taking my time going home when the accident happened. My truck is still up there. Although the insurance company totaled it, I plan on rebuilding it, repairing it, and it'll be back someday. And these are a number of pictures that Brian had sent me that he'd taken with his camera from his cell phone. Some imprints and the peanut butter that he used to leave, and some other things. This is the one that he said that he took over his shoulder when he was trying to take a selfie to get a picture of the Sasquatch that was watching him. These are some of the tracks that Brian took a picture of with his phone that he found in the winter with his witness, Sean Gee, and he'll explain this in a little bit. This is the art I did of what he saw. This is a Sasquatch reacting to getting the light shown in its face, lifting its arm up to block the light. Well, this is Brian in the drawing I did for him.
It's absolutely wonderful. Beyond what I could.
Oh, hopefully that's close. He's not really eating his hand. He's supposed to be putting that up over his face. I didn't want him to cover his whole face, so I put it about there.
No, that was perfect.
And then I superimposed him on the background, so I didn't have to draw all the background on him. Because if I drew him a lot smaller, there wouldn't have been as much detail if I would have put all the trees and stuff behind it. So I drew him big and then superimposed him on the picture that he had for the background. So I figured that would work best.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you know, I'll have an explanation to why he's doing that and stuff, you know. So I'll let you explain that here, and you can stand over here and you can explain the what happened with the house behind me first, and then explain the snow stuff, or whichever you want to do first.
So when I quit putting peanut butter out, the house down the road, I was sick for like 3 weeks. And about a week after I got sick, apparently the house down the road, the motion lights were going on.
Yeah.
And so they looked at the footage and they could see 4-pound peanut butter jars bouncing into their yard. So, you know, they had all this footage. They're going out and picking up the peanut butter jars. And then about 2 weeks after I quit, with the house behind us, is when they started peeking in the windows. And at one point, the guy got a picture. They won't send me the copy. He sent it to the neighbors because they know
Wow.
who was the one to talk to me. But they got a picture of one peeking in a window on a second-story window.
Oh, that would be
It
so
was in
cool to
this
see
little girl's
that.
room. And that was when they said, okay, enough's enough. We got to call the DNR because this can't go on anymore.
Well, that's awful.
Yeah, I feel bad because I thought I was in control of the situation.
Yeah.
But they obviously showed me that they're the ones in control and they're not going to respect. I thought they wouldn't cross the road.
Yeah.
Because it's private property. They've been out here for so long. It's always been private property. But they did.
Yeah, they go where they want.
And so the only good thing I could say that came out of that was the fact that once I started coming back, even though the DNR said don't put peanut butter anymore, I started going deeper into the woods.
Yeah.
And that was where I started doing like my clapping and stuff.
Yeah.
And the activity across the road now has kind of died off. Because I call the DNR officer once in a while to say, hey, am I still good, or how are things? And the neighbors keep in contact with them because they literally write down every time I'm here.
Huh.
They have a logbook of my approaches and leaving, making sure I'm not putting peanut butter out anymore.
Right, and the DNR put trail cams up everywhere to get everybody's license plates.
Yeah, there's 4 cameras down there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one behind us too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's one right there. See it on that tree right over there?
Oh, yeah. No, I never noticed that one before.
Oh, anyway, tell me about the snow incident that happened in the winter when you came here with your girlfriend.
So, she's just a friend of mine.
Oh, just a friend of yours?
Yep, she was like a sister. We've known each other since we were 7 years old.
Wow.
And she didn't really believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Because she didn't go out with me on a bunch of these.
Right.
It just happened to be one night she was bored. She had stage 4 cancer, and she really wanted to get out. I said, well, why don't you go with me? I'm going to go do a little night thing out where I Bigfoot and see what happens.
What was her name?
Shauna.
Okay.
Shauna G. And so Shauna and I jump in the truck, and as we come up the road, we could see where a deer head went up.
Yeah.
And then I saw 2 huge footprints, and there were only 2 going up the hill. And
Right.
Huge strides.
And I got those pictures, yep.
And so I told her, I said, let's stop and take a look because I know what made those.
Yeah.
There wasn't much doubt. And she's like, all right, let's do it. She'd had a couple shots of tequila, so she was ready for anything. And so I shut the lights off on the truck. I grabbed a flashlight, and I said, we're not going to have the lights on until we get over the hill because I want to see if we hear anything or what's going on. And so, we trudge our way through the snow. It's knee-deep snow. And just cross the top of the hill, get maybe 20 feet or so, and then we start hearing like tree breaks and crunching and around us. It was weird because it was like on half a circle in front.
Yeah.
And so she's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. I'll hit the light and find out. So I hit the flashlight and I got it in my left hand, and in front of me is this huge reddish brown body. You could see legs, chest, arms just at the edge of the light, and you could see it bring its left arm up like this to cover its eyes.
Right.
And then it roars. And it was terrifying because I froze. She froze for a second.
They're loud.
It vibrated your whole, it's
Yep.
like a concert. Vibrated your whole clothes.
Yeah, people can't even imagine that. I mean, I've been growled at and screamed at, like that, and it's intense. It's a bass that, yeah, the best comparison is a concert.
Yeah, I was 15 rows back when I saw Boston.
Yeah.
Every note on that guitar, you could feel the vibration in
Yeah.
your pant, like, and that's what it was like, but probably times 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I mean, because the coat and everything just rattled my brains. It felt like. And so I turned around to her. I put my truck keys in her hand.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's go. If I'm not in that truck 30 seconds behind you, just go, because you're not going to be able to help me.
Right.
And so she's going, not going fast enough for me. So she weighed about $1.05 at the time because of the cancer. So I'm pushing her through the snow, picking her up, you know, and we can hear something walking behind us. And as we get to the truck, open the passenger door, throw her in, and
You threw her in the truck.
literally, I helped push her, shoved her in. She went almost over the console.
So this is all happening pretty fast, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, it took us longer to get up the hill. We got down way quicker, I can tell you that. And so, basically throw her in the truck, but because I threw her, my feet come out from under me, and I go under my truck because the road's ice.
Jeez.
So I'm trying to scramble to get out from under the truck, and I hear my truck start. I thought, oh man, she thinks I'm serious. She's going to leave without me and crush me here. I'm going to run over by my own truck. Luckily, I get out and get in the seat, push her over, and then so we leave. And we get a couple miles down the road before anybody says anything.
Huh.
And I'm like, she said we need to stop at Frankfurt Shell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm going home. We're going to have a couple drinks and forget about it. And she says, no. She said, you know, it kind of teared up. She says, I wet my pants when that thing roared. And we're trying to reassure her. I said, if I hadn't gone 10 minutes earlier in the woods, I would have probably wet my pants too,
yeah.
because that was loud. So we stopped at Shell. She went in. Luckily, she had snow pants on. So she just wadded everything up and put it in a plastic bag, went to put it in my truck. I'm like, no, not in the truck, in the back. And so, you know, took her home, did a couple shots. And the next day I, you know, had my bravery back a little bit. So I come back to where everything happened. And I did a video trying to recreate those steps.
Yeah.
And I think it took me like 8 or 9.
Huh, wow.
And I'm pushing snow, and you can see the difference because those 2 prints were just clear.
Oh yeah, plus they're like this. They're, you know, in line.
Yeah.
They don't walk like we do, where they're, you know, our feet are separated by the width of our shoulders usually.
Yeah, so and when I get to the top is where I find a track that had been protected from the wind overnight, and put my foot next to it, and it was 23, and you could still see toes in the bottom of it. And it also had that weird little, they say they kick their heel out.
Yeah.
When they walk, it had that weird little notch in the snow where it kicked its heel out walking. So,
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. We're up here, and this is Brian, and he's gonna go through his encounter. That probably a few of them. This one in this spot right here. There you go ahead.
right down that big tree, right just over the ones that are falling, I was watching a thermal and I saw a little set of eyes, and it was zigzagging back and forth, and I was trying to figure out what it was. And finally I turned a flashlight on, and it was a big raccoon. So I thought, oh man, I'm gonna get beat up by a trash panda. And it gets down, and all of a sudden by that tree it freezes. So I'm watching it on my little phone thermal, and I even tried to scare it. I'm like, hey, get, you know, because I don't want it bit. And all of a sudden you see this large arm reach out, snatch the raccoon, pull it back. You hear the raccoon screaming for its life for about 3 seconds, and then you hear a thud, and it's gone. So I'm kind of frozen, and I'm just kind of moving the flashlight. And within a few seconds, way down almost to where the hill flattens out, a large set of eyes blinked, and it was gone. And then a couple of footfalls, and it was out of here.
Yeah, it keeps on going downhill down there. It's easy for them to lay low and get out of the way. That's interesting, because a couple of years ago I had almost the same thing happen, but it was the ones that were kind of friendly when they were behind my house, and they just picked up a raccoon and took a chunk out of it and started eating it right in front of me like it was a piece of pizza, and it was like screaming while it was alive. They're eating the thing.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing to them. It's just chow. It's just you know, like us picking up a donut or something. So, and you know, they only eat the soft tissues, and
Eat it while it's warm.
yeah, they need a lot of protein for all the energy they burn. I mean,
and then I used to put peanut butter in that where that fence post is,
yeah.
and there's a hole in it, and it fits in a nice tight jar. And so I'd stuff it in there, and within a week I'd come back, and the jar would be stuffed back in, but completely clean with the lid on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's no holes in it, so it's like, and we would find the tracks going up and down.
Well, this says private drive, so we better not go down there.
It's just an easement. Down here. I looked on the road map, or on the like real estate site where you can get on.
Yeah.
And they've got an easement because there's a plane right down there. Because also the thermal we got with Lance and I, it was right behind that tree.
No access without permission.
Yeah, there's people walking down this all the time.
Okay.
So people get lost off that trail, come up here, and then they think they're at the parking lot that's all the way down there. And I'm like, no, sorry.
No, the subtitles were made for this clip because of poor sound. Thanks.
Up here was where I was playing hide and seek with the little ones. That happened twice. The first time only lasted about 30 seconds. So he'd pop out, I'd go up the tree trying to get a better view, and he'd pop back in. After about 30 seconds, there was a knock and off he ran.
Oh, yeah.
Now that they've grown up, it's hard to find certain things that I was used to finding.
Oh, this.
Because there was a tree that had a pallet on it, and when I was doing the peanut butter, I would put where I put it like barrel, hill, and all of a sudden one day I'm walking and I'm looking at this tree. It looks like my peanut butter jar is just floating. I'm like, what the heck? I walk over to it, and they had put a hole in the side and then the bottom and put a stick right there.
Yeah, you showed me that. That was cool, and it was all cleaned out.
You know, and that was like when the DNR was talking to her. You know, they started talking about the peanut butter jars, and she goes, I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah, you gotta clean those up.
They said they got like 50 of mine. Crap. Now I know where they all went. I don't know where they found them or anything, but she's like, well, you can come get them if you want. And I didn't want to drive the Cadillac. Oh, there it is. So that was the stick that they shoved it through.
Oh, yeah,
It was
I
just
see it.
sitting there floating. And I said, well, what kind of shape are they? And she goes, well, you know, a lot of them are, some of them are chewed up, you can tell the raccoons or whatever. And she said, some of them there's not a mark on it. She says, but I got to ask you, why did you put a date on the top and a different date on the bottom? But I didn't do that. She goes, well, it's like January 4th on one and February something on the bottom. And I started laughing. And I says, well, your bears apparently were switching the lids around because I didn't put them like that.
That's interesting. Oh, yeah.
Because then when I was trying to figure out why didn't anything else come down around this?
Well, that one's dead, and that one fell on this and brought these branches down, and I don't know about that one. Maybe it just got weak at that. So, well, it looks like it had a growth on there, but like, yeah, something pulled that down. But yeah, they can hide behind stuff like that.
I couldn't figure out why, and then I squatted down and I realized you can just see right over that if you're squatting, and then nothing, you can't see in it though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they hand that down, teach their young all those tricks, and they know how to make stuff like that, how to hide. As they definitely get better as they get older.
At. I think we were walking. Oh, we were coming up this way, and I knew something was behind me. You know, but I couldn't. Every time I turned around, there was nothing there. So I took one selfie style, and
Oh, yeah, you have to send me that.
It was like, oh, I knew you were back there.
Oh, that's too hard to tell. That's just a bunch of.
That's what's down here.
I don't even give it much thought unless it's a, you know, a quarter or a 3/4 of print with toes on it.
Oh, okay.
And if it's a print like you had in the snow like that, where you can see where the wall, that's different. But like, you know, if you just find one and it just looks like an imprint, it's hard to go by. I just kind of go like, oh yeah, that could probably be one, but I won't take pictures of something like that unless it's. And like people always go like, this woods is pretty thin compared to where I live. I mean, you can't even walk through the woods like this where I live. But up, look at the ground. Where are you going to find a print? Everybody was like, oh, you don't find prints.
Yeah.
It has to be wet for one thing. I guess you could find a print back here after it rained, but you're not going to find a print back here in this. I mean, it wouldn't be very distinctive.
Yeah, that's like on that gravel road. Every time I find, you know, I saw 15 or 20 long strides, I'm like, and I stomp next to it, and it's like, I don't even scratch the surface, let alone leave a partial print.
Like 2 miles into the woods, it's just bizarre. This is it.
I usually move that rock every time I come out. Last time I moved it, it was sitting in the tops of that tree up there. And that was Sunday. Now something stuck it down here. To me, this was, I don't know what to think of it.
Oh.
And then where Lance and I saw the faces was right over there. Where like brush piles like pulled down.
Right.
Huge faces. Lance was calm as could be. I didn't see them. I think they loved me coming out because I don't see them half the time. So I look at my pictures.
I have the same issues sometimes. Best way to find them is go like, well, where would I hide? Where's the best cover where they can lay low and shade, you know, and that's usually where they are. But look up in the trees too, because the littler ones that are, you know, about 2-3 feet high, they'll shoot up a tree and try to look like a tree knot or, you know, some tree growth or something like that and hug the tree. We don't look up that often.
I put the peanut butter in, and then the next week everything was destroyed.
Yeah, you found your spot. They don't like that. It's probably a napping spot or something. I think they find comfortable places in a place where they can, you know, have, you know, close by food.
And then at least 3 times, see those bushes come up and then it gets dark right there?
Yeah.
I've caught at least 3 different times one standing there, peeking, watching what I'm doing. And then by the time I get over there, there's nothing there to make the shadow.
Yeah, they know how to work the shadows. Especially when you're that color.
This is the one place I'm afraid to go at night. Because where we're going, I'll show you, it's like, I don't know if they use it as a meat spot or a highway or what, but there's always different sized tracks. And for a long time I was somebody put a rock on top of it now.
Oh yeah. This is a nice little spot back here.
Yeah, and I put a bunch of green ties on that one tree, you know, like pipe cleaners.
The fluorescent ones? Just regular green?
Yeah, regular. They weren't anything special. Bright green, I guess. But I put like 10 of them there, you know, all wadded up just to see if they play with them. They stayed there for a month, and all of a sudden I came out, and they were all, there was like 1 here, 3 up here, a few over there, and they were all wrapped and tied in different knots. So but this is where I was leaving the peanut butter.
Huh.
Put it in here, and originally that barrel was over there. Every time I put peanut butter in, it's like they shoved it over to get in, you know, and I would have the sticks up
Yeah.
in here and over there because I didn't want the trash pandas getting it.
Well, trash pandas can get just about anything.
I come back, the peanut butter's gone, and the sticks are still almost in the same spot. And then, you remember the picture I sent where the two of them, one was standing up and the other one was kind of squatting down?
Yeah.
That's right over there.
And are we trespassing?
No. Yep, that's the last little bit of the training. I learned not to put peanut butter where I think they're resting.
I found ones that look like they're made by humans. They're so well put together, their beds. I'm gonna grab a bunch of, you know, field grass and stick it on the bottom and everything. Little sticks. You know, nothing a deer would ever make. Places where no human would just, you know, wouldn't be good for a human shelter. It's more like something that would just take a nap in.
That was just a place down. That's a long walk back there though. Down the trail where we went last night.
Yeah.
And then you circle around by the lake trail and walk up a couple hills.
Yeah.
There's, I'll have to send you the pictures, but sticks about this big around,
Yeah.
maybe this long, and they're stacked like a deer blind, almost 4 feet high. And one day I put,
Yeah, and there's no hunters back there, so.
and it overlooks a field where the deer lay down in the bushes.
Yep. Yeah, they like fields and open places at night because they can't see at night worth of shit.
And then, so one time I put a rock where I was stuck that peanut butter in the hole on the thing, on the fence I showed you.
Yeah.
There's a candy rock with my, I put my girlfriend who got killed, I put her name on it, and I set it on that fence post, and it disappeared with the peanut butter.
Huh.
2 weeks later, I'm walking around, and up by what I call the deer blind, the rock is set perfectly on a root, with the name up, right there. You know, and that was my next peanut butter spot, and it was like, holy crap, somebody carried this a long way.
Well, yeah, if you want to still gift them food like that, try bananas and apples. And that way there's no packages left behind. I mean, other animals can take them, but one thing you can tell about them taking bananas is they'll peel them, where, you know, any other animal's gonna,
Oh yeah?
you know, tear into that freaking banana skin and eat it like that. They perfectly peel them and they'll leave the peeling behind. You know, it's pretty bizarre.
It was hilarious because when we walked by one of the trees, but it was too dark to see where I was leaving peanut butter and different things, and we would hide bark around it, and I put a wrapped frosted honey bun there. 2 weeks, nothing touches it. I mean, nothing. I thought, what the heck? So I opened it up and put it out. For 3 more weeks, not even the possums, the trash pandas, the squirrels would touch that honey bun. And I thought, maybe I better think my life choices if even the animals won't eat these.
Yeah.
They must know something I don't about it.
They just don't. They don't trust human food. I don't think. I don't know. I can't explain the trash pandas. I've seen them fight over a frickin' Pop-Tart wrapper before. No Pop-Tart in it. It was.
That's why they do shiny things.
I don't usually get excited unless I see them in a row like you got in your picture.
Yeah.
Then it's really, you know, it's something, but you know, you show somebody else, they're going, like, you only found one track.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing about the Bigfoot stuff. Oh, that is weird being up here.
Yeah, it literally appeared, you know, because I walk it all the time. And one weekend, there it is.
Oh, wow. How much does that thing weigh?
I couldn't budget when I tried pushing the rig.
And it just appeared up here?
Yeah.
Or you just forgot it was there, dude. It's got sticks in it.
I lined them all up because we used to put peanut butter and then I would put popsicle sticks and like a soccer ball or something in there.
Yeah, that's probably about 300-400 pounds.
You know, I'd put peanut butter in the fish bowl because it would be in there nice and tight. And I'd come back and fish bowls empty. And this see if we can get close to the private property. There's a house right there.
Yeah.
But and then anytime the peanut butter be gone, we'd walk this way, and that's where we'd find the jars. You know, the lid would be off, and all of a sudden you can see pieces of tin foil going, and find the jar later. It's literally like he was just walking and picking it. This is where this a red one just sitting there like this, looking like it was a big red stump.
The one you told me about, and then you got up and walked away?
No, he was down on the hill. This was, I think it was the same one, but thought he was heading in, but the head and shoulders were pretty clear.
That's why I go in with these cameras on all the time. One on the front, one on the back, usually, and you just don't have time to raise up a camera, turn it on, and focus it and all that crap. They're gone in, you know, blink of an eye. So most of the time,
and it seems like they know what that is, because as soon as I went to go to raise my phone, they're gone.
Well, they don't know if you're raising a phone or if you're raising a gun.
Oh,
That's why I don't. That's why I don't raise my. That one time I was going to get a thermal up in Luzerne, and I don't know if I'm here to that next tree over there away from me, and they stood up, and it was night, and I had my red light on like I had last night, and Dango was coming in, he had his thermal out, and I went like that. I didn't want to yell, and he looked where I was pointing. I was going like that, and he looks at Dango, and he looks at him, and Dango got him right on. And it was the only thermal we've ever got that's real distinctive. I mean, so distinctive you can see from the neck down, and you can see the muscles all the way down.
no kidding.
All the way down to his feet. And I didn't want to raise mine was still in my pocket because we just left camp. We were like a few hundred yards away from camp, and it was our first time there. The first time we were there, first night, and I didn't take my thermal out, and I didn't want to go and raise it out of my pocket like a gun and freak them out. So I just kind of stood there like a dummy and watched them. And like I started talking to them, and they are actually walking towards me. And they're two juveniles, but when they saw Dango, they kind of ducked behind the trees. It was amazing, and it just went on and on after that. And you know, every time I go up there, they come visit me.
This was the sign when I first started putting recorders out. I tucked one in on that, where the metal caves in, and wrapped it up tight. And as I'm wrapping it,
That was a what?
A little digital recorder.
Oh yeah.
And as I'm wrapping it, you hear bang! A rock hit the sign.
Whoa.
And you hear me on the recorder going, "Holy fuck, that was a rock!" Because I had my friend with me, Linda. And she goes, "Yeah, I know." She says, "I hope you're done." And then bang! No. I have an incident.
What the hell was that? Some sort of camera glitch. It's got really bright for a second. Sometimes if a bug flies in front of it, it does that too. Yeah, they're probably not used to that tree knock anyway. Like what the, uh-oh. I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe. A little bit too distant. I know trees right there. There's 3 trees. See if you can pick up anything in that thermal. It might just be because I'm not using enough light and it's just kind of fading out at that spot, but it looked like something was moving in between those 2 trees. I don't see any eye shine. I'd definitely say eye shine. I mean, hell was that? Some sort of camera glitch. It's got really bright for a second. Sometimes if a bug flies in front of it, it does that too. Yeah, they're probably not used to that tree knock anyway. Like what the, uh-oh. I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe. A little bit too distant. Behind those trees right there, those 3 trees. See if you can pick up anything in that thermal. It might just be because I'm not using enough light and it's just kind of fading out at that spot, but it looked like something was moving in between those 2 trees. I don't see any eye shine. I don't see any eye shine though. Hi, what's you doing? Are you just part of the tree? Yeah, we're probably just looking at a freaking part of the tree or something. Oh well. They're pretty shy. That's weird, it still looks like a Sasquatch. Oh, there's some eyes. Hi. What you doing? Are you actually something, or is my camera just going screwy?
Was there something there? I don't know. We didn't throw enough light onto it to blind it. I could have put a white light on it. But as it is, there's not enough light on it, so I really can't say either way. This video is dedicated to Brian's other witness and friend, Shauna Gee, who lost her fight with cancer on 2/22. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Helps the channel. Thanks.